Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alyssa and I'm so excited for this 10 side hustle ideas video. If you are new around here, I think I'm addicted to making money. I have a full-time job. I also have multiple side hustles that I do, and I wanted to share not only the side hustles that I do, but also some other ideas that I've considered or have heard of other people doing. So if you like budgeting content, planning content, side hustle content, how much money I make side hustling to pay off my oozles and boozles amounts of student loans, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along on this journey. The side hustles I'll be sharing with you are hopefully pretty accessible if you're in a more like metropolitan area. Some of these you may be able to do if you're in a rural area. I'll be doing another video for things that are just completely remote, but these are ones that you may have to like travel to or like be in a close proximity to a town that has some sort of livelihood and activity happening in it. So the first side hustle I'll share with you is one that I've actually done before. So it's like DoorDashing, Uber Eats, Grubhubs, any type of meal delivery service. You know, when you're bored at home and you don't want to put on shoes to go to McDonald's or get Thai food, you order off some type of app and it gets delivered to you. Very likely that is through a third party of DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. Somebody has to deliver that food. I've personally done DoorDash. It is actually a great source of income because you can do it whenever is convenient for you. There is no time amounts that you have to meet every month. There's no quotas. It's drive as much as you would like and make as much money as you pretty much want. It averages about between, I say, $20 and $25 an hour before like taxes, expenses, if you buy yourself a meal, because let me tell you, you pick up McDonald's a couple of times and you start craving their fries. So that's a great idea if you're looking and you have a car. Obviously you need that. I have seen some people do it on like mopeds, motorcycles, bicycles, more in like the summertime when it's not freezing. You just want to make sure that the food arrives hot or it arrives cold, depending if it's a cold item or a hot item, obviously. So far on DoorDash this year, I will post a number right here of how much I've made. I mainly did it over the summertime when it was a little bit more active and it wasn't dark at 5 o'clock here in Seattle. But I will post that on the screen if you're interested in how much I've made this far this year. The second thing also requires a car, but it's driving for companies like Lyft and Uber. So Lyft and Uber, obviously, I'm pretty sure we've all heard of them. I take a Lyft or an Uber maybe once, twice a month. So I, one, don't get DUIs, and two, because it's incredibly irresponsible to drive while intoxicated. Or I also live like 10 minutes from the airport. So if one of my roommates aren't available, then I just take an Uber or a Lyft to the airport. Somebody has to be driving those, and it is a great way. A lot of people, and I do talk to a lot of my drivers, and I ask how much that they drive for, and I just took a Lyft the other day. This guy worked at Boeing, which is obviously an aerospace company centered here in Seattle. They have a lot of manufacturing plants, but he works there during the week, and then from Friday evening all the way through Sunday evening, he drives for Lyft and makes a crap ton of money. So it is a great side hustle, and it's one of those things where you can drive as much or as little as you want, and you can play the different promotions and get more money. It's the same thing with delivery apps too, and just see how much you can make. But all of the money you make is obviously going to be before taxes, gas, and that's why so many like Lyft and Uber drivers use Priuses, because it's mainly electric and they don't have to spend as much money on gas. I do not have an electric car. I do not have a hybrid car. 100% gas powered, baby, and that sucker takes gas. I get about 30 miles a gallon in the city, which is pretty good, but always room for improvement. The third thing is reselling. So reselling on places like eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace. You see all those dresses right there? They have been hanging up for maybe about 2 months now. I've been meaning to steam them, photograph them, and get them listed on those different websites. I've just been super lazy, but I have 30 of these really nice gowns that I've had for maybe about a year now, and I have just had them sitting in boxes. But this is a great side hustle too, especially if you like thrifting or sort of that one-of-a-kind bargain hunting. It's a really, really fun thing to do. You can go to the Goodwill outlets, which we call the bins in the reselling community. There's 3 within driving distance from me, and it's basically just this giant warehouse with huge tubs just filled with, they like categorize it, so one will be filled with clothes, one will be with shoes, toys, books, like really whatever people donate or haven't bought from the larger Goodwills. So reselling is a great option. It does require some space, and it does require knowledge of what is going to be selling. There's tons of YouTube channels too that go over this. I have some videos, and I'll link the playlist in whatever one of these corners of my previous reselling experience. I am still reselling a little bit, but with the different moves, it's been hard to keep up with like inventory. So number 4, and this one is very similar to reselling. Reselling in my mind is something that you're taking more or less a used product and flipping it for more on the internet. I guess they call it something different, but basically it's just reselling. You're selling used items and you're flipping it. These are the like one of a kind items that you probably just can't go to a regular retail store and buy. So the 4th piece is selling on places like Amazon, Walmart.com. Yes, you can sell as a third party on Walmart.com, but this is when you go to retail stores, you do retail arbitrage. You can also do online arbitrage. So you're doing brand new products and flipping it on Amazon. This is a whole different cost fee structure than places like Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay. And it takes a lot longer to learn just because there are a lot of different processes that you have to go through. But I actually prefer selling on Amazon versus the other sites like Poshmark and Mercari, because I can send in one SKU of like one particular item, but I can send in like 100 of that same item, and it's the same process for each. I don't have to list 100 different items. There's already the listing. You just kind of do the whole process for Amazon and go from there. Again, tons and tons of YouTube videos on how to sell on Amazon. There is obviously a cost of entry to Amazon, so you do have to have like some product you can send in. So there is like an investment you have to make, whereas places like Poshmark, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, you can just sell stuff around your house, like sell different clothes, brand name clothes, sell lots of things. And then with obviously the driving for Uber Eats or for DoorDash or Lyft, stuff like that, you just really need a car. There's no barrier to entry for that type of thing. I guess you could say you can't be a criminal, but other than that, I think you're pretty good. Number 5, which I think is probably my favorite side hustle right now because it requires such a little effort, and I've been making about $500 a month doing it, and that is donating plasma. So I do have an affiliate link or referral code in the description box below. I donate at a place called CSL Plasma. The initial promo rates equivalent to about $1,000 across 8 different visits. So $1,000 divided by 8, that was kind of what it averages out to. That's how much my promo rates are. I know it changes throughout the year, so just be aware of that. But now that I'm done with the promo rates, it's $52 for my first donation of the week and $60 for my second donation of the week. I know for November, they do have like promo rates throughout the year too, or different promotions you can play. So November's promo is your 6th, 7th, and 8th donation, you get an extra $10. So there's an opportunity to earn an extra $30 for the month. You can't do your initial promo rates and the monthly promo. It's like either or. So obviously you want to start with the initial promo rate because it's way more money, and then move to like the regular monthly rate. So I think for November, I may be able to donate between 8 and 9 times. So I should hopefully get all of those promotions. The thing I will say about donating plasma is your first visit, it will take about 2 to 3 hours. Anytime after that is between about an hour and 2 hours, depending on how busy it is, how fast it is, and honestly your blood flow as well. You also can't be afraid of needles because they do poke you into a vein. So you do have to be aware of that. But other than that, it's pretty chill process. When I'm waiting in line, I'm just on my phone. And then when I'm doing the actual donation, like the blood is coming out of me, I just watch a YouTube video, and then about 40 minutes later, I'm done. You get the cash instantly onto like a little debit card, and you can go spend it on groceries or whatever you need for that amount, or you can transfer it to your bank account, which is actually what I do. I just move it over to my checking account and then I put that into my bi-weekly budget. The sixth side hustle that I'm actually considering for in the new year, I'm really debating about it and I honestly need to talk to family members, but it's donating your eggs. This is actually exclusively for females. Sorry, males, it's just you don't have eggs, so sorry. But there are a lot of women out there who suffer with fertility for whatever the reason may be, and it's not something that's talked about a lot. But as a young, healthy female, you do have to be between certain ages. You can't have a long string of some type of disease in your family or a consistent theme of like alcoholism or addiction, anything like that. But if you are a healthy young female, and not just baselining it, there's so many other things that go into it, but just to give you a very brief overview, a healthy female, you can donate your eggs. There is a process. There's obviously like a waiting period, a lot of medical appointments. My best friend Sarah actually works with egg donors. She works at a fertility clinic, and she tells me all the different things and just how happy women are when other women can donate their eggs and give another woman the ability to have a family, something that they have obviously always dreamed of. They're forking out tens of thousands of dollars. I know for the clinic my friend works at, the first time you donate your eggs, you get $8,000. It's different with all clinics across the country. There's some national ones, there's local ones in different areas, especially if you have a lot of hospitals nearby. You can donate your eggs and the price is going to vary. It is taxable income, so you have to watch out for that. All of these are pretty much taxable income that we'll talk about. You'll likely be like a 1099 employee contractor. Whether you receive any type of actual form, you will have to claim it as income on your taxes, except for the reselling. If you do under 600, I believe the law is, then you don't have to claim it as taxes. I could be wrong, so consult a tax professional as always. With donating eggs, there's obviously different types of complications that can happen. There's also a lot of psychological work that you have to be comfortable with doing, a lot of emotional work that goes into it. For a lot of women, and I think I'm included in this, those who donate eggs don't necessarily have an emotional attachment to them. And so yes, there's a likelihood that they will turn into a child, but that child is not your child. And speaking for myself, it's just DNA at the end of the day. It's not my child. I'm not raising them. This may sound harsh, but I don't want anything to do with that child. I don't want to know that child. Is it cool to think, yeah, there'll be another little Alyssa running around? Sure. But also it's like, it's not really my child because you grow up in such different environments than what I would have raised a child in, or maybe one day will. And that definitely impacts who the child grows up to be. I studied education, and that's the type of education I studied, is how your environment and surrounding environments determine a lot about who people will be as adults, how your environment impacts your decision making, your ability to be successful, the resources that you have. Is more or less kind of common sense, but there's a lot of studies around there just about like education and environments and stuff like that. So that's why I think I'm a little bit more comfortable with it than maybe the average woman would be, but it is something I'm considering in the new year. And I have some lofty side hustle goals for 2023, and that 8K will basically help me surpass it. And if I could do it twice in 1 year, that would be crazy. So we'll see. It's something I need to discuss with my family. Obviously, there's going to be impacts for things like that, especially if when the child turns 18, if they can do ancestry like DNA or other DNA sites like that and somehow find me and contact me. That is something that I would have to understand is a possibility, even if all of the legal things are in place of staying anonymous. That is something that you do have to think about. So number 7, and this is something that I'm almost 90% sure I'm gonna apply for in the new year. I will likely get to 100 once it becomes like December time. I'm actually at 100 right now that I want to do it, but I need to like slow my roll going into the holidays because I just got so much going on. So I'll say like 90% sure I'm gonna do this, is becoming a trivia host or a musical bingo host at a local bar, pub. There are so many different like companies. I think there's like 3 or 4 like main companies that you can go through to be like a trivia host. You do have to apply, like it is a job application. I know in Seattle they pay between like $20 to $25 an hour. Also 1099 employee, but it's like 2-3 hours a week commitment. If you do it twice a week, 4 to 6 hours, you get to have fun, you get to entertain people. If you're like me and you suck at trivia, this is a great way to still like kind of be a part of the environment, be a part of like the bar scene, but then also get paid for it. I work in an office by myself. I do have coworkers, but I don't have coworkers in the office right now. And so it gets really lonely, and my social cup just like needs to be filled more than I think most people. So being something like a trivia host where you're around just like energy and people, and you are technically the smartest person in the room because you've got all the answers like on your computer. I know a lot of the requirements for being a trivia host or a musical bingo host is to have like a laptop or an iPad where you can run the program on. They give you all the other equipment to be successful, but it just sounds like so much fun, especially if you're energetic, you're a little bit witty and funny, you can engage with the crowd. It could be a really great idea for somebody to do and make a little bit of extra money on the side. So number 8, this is something that I actually did in college and made a lot of money doing. Yes, I pretty much gave up my Friday and Saturday nights, but it was babysitting. I found a lot of my clients through care.com, and then they would refer me to other people in like the neighborhood or the Seattle area, and that's how I would bring on like even more clients. I think at one time I was babysitting for 5 different families, and in Seattle they pay about $20 an hour I was getting to babysit. And oftentimes I would come at like 5, the kids were asleep by 8, and the parents would get home at 11. So there was like 3 hours of actually doing work and then 3 hours of just honestly trying to stay awake, reading a book, watching a movie, but I would get paid for all of that time. So 6 hours of work, I would make $120. Just pretty much Venmo to me. Sometimes they would give it to me in cash. I know one family I babysat for paid me $15, but they weren't really in Seattle proper. And that one sucked because it was like a 30-45 minute drive away. Most of the places I went to were like 15-20 minutes maybe at most to get to. And they were all in really nice houses. And they would let me eat their food. Most of the time I would just bring my own because I didn't want to like make something. But it was really nice. I loved all of the families I babysat for. And it's something I've thought about getting back into, but honestly, I just don't really want to babysit right now. But there may be a time when I do want to babysit again. And it was honestly a really easy job. You just have to be good with kids. I always chose to not babysit babies because I just felt really uncomfortable with babies. And I honestly didn't really want to change diapers. So that's something to consider as well. I liked the older kids, like 4, 5, 6, like under 10. They were great. They're so fun and energetic and sweet. And then you get to sometimes like you gotta lay down the law. So it is a great little side hustle if you are good with kids, you're comfortable with that, you have a welcoming personality, and that you're responsible, because you really have to be responsible. You don't want to leave a family hanging when they're excited to go out with their friends or their family and just like have a nice, fun, maybe wild night out, and you cancel last minute on them. Like, that sucks. Don't be that person. Number 9 is pet sitting or being like a pet walker. So I know there's a couple different apps you can use. I think Rover is one of them where you can sign up to be a dog walker or a dog sitter. I've actually used Rover for a cat sitting, for someone to babysit my cat Lila when I'm gone. And I was chatting with my cat sitter back in July who cat sat for me when I went on a trip, and she basically had like 4 or 5 clients every week. She would make like $400 or $500 a week. I know for the week that I paid for, it was about $230. After like the fees and stuff, it was about $180. So she came over once a day for 30 minutes, fed my cat, played with her, gave her water, and then left. So, I mean, that's a great deal for 7 days, about $180. Like, she was rolling in the bank. And so if you can get a couple of clients like that who just trust you, you're consistent, you're great with animals, this is a really, really great idea. And it doesn't really require that much of a time commitment. I mean, obviously you have to be around. You need to make sure you're, again, responsible, responsive, good with pets and animals, and you understand like what it takes to keep them alive, and you're caring and kind, because that's what people look for when they're basically needing someone to watch their family members. If you agree that pets are like family, like you want someone you can trust who's gonna take care of them while you're gone. And the 10th and final side hustle that you can start is becoming a workout instructor. I don't know if you guys go to a gym. I go to LA Fitness. They have them all over the country, but there's classes like boot camp and yoga and cycle class and Zumba and water aerobics. Like there are so many different classes you can take, and there needs to be an instructor to do that. And most instructors do it part-time. They have a full-time job and then either teach classes in the morning or in the evening time and make money that way. So if you have a fitness and athletic perspective, you love Zumba, or you're super into yoga, this does take a little bit of time to get qualified. You do have to go through like classes and to get certified essentially, and then find a gym that needs an extra instructor. So there is a little bit more like barrier to entry on this one, but it's still a really, really great option. And then you get paid basically to work out. Like that's literally what you're gonna get paid for. So that's a great one if you want to start making money that way in 2023. Like start that process now and get yourself ready and geared up to start in the new year, when everybody has a new year goal pretty much to like lose weight, get more active, and you know, people need instructors to keep up with that demand. So those were the top 10 side hustles that I thought of, and hopefully you have some great ideas too. If you have ideas for side hustles, please leave them in the comments below. Obviously, I didn't cover everything. I still have 10 more here on my list to go through, but we'll save that for another video. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know what of these side hustles you're considering. Do you do any of these side hustles? Leave me a comment below. I would love to see what people do and how they like them. So I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one real soon. Bye.
You should know you're looking at a self-made woman.